Howie from How Does One Person. Hello?
What's up?
Oh, dang. I was like, oh no, nothing happening? We good? We bad? Ah!
Did you not hear me?
Oh,
Panic.
yeah, I could hear you for like legit 1 second, and I
Oh.
was like, what happened? Did everything
I said
die?
hello, all sultry like. I'm
Aw,
so
sweet.
sad.
Oh no, I didn't get to hear the hello. I was like,
hello.
dang, no. Ooh.
The best part of my bi-weekly schedule.
Oh.
How we say hello.
Hello. If no one hears it, was it really a good episode of the podcast?
I don't think so personally.
Yeah, honestly, it's
But
just
that's just me.
yeah, it's just
we might as well
facts.
just stop now.
Honestly, just stop while we were ahead, like
Wait.
one episode.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. So for this episode, we did well in last week's episode. At the very end, we said, "Hey, for a little bit, let's talk about musicals and plays and whatnot, 'cause we like that ish. Let's talk."
So pumped. I'm so pumped. I've been
Oh.
listening to a bunch of musical stuff on YouTube for the past like hour to get in the
Yes.
zone.
Yes, I listened to a couple of stuff during the week, and I'm just reminded of how I still needed more. There's some I wasn't able to get to. For those who wanted my opinions on Beetlejuice, I'm sorry, I didn't listen to it, although
no!
I should.
Shoot.
What I
that's
did
okay.
listen to was the entirety of Hadestown,
Yes.
and the Dear Heaven Hansen soundtrack.
Yes.
And I was like, ah, heck yeah. And of course, the classic The Phantom of the Opera, seeing as how it's one of my favorites of all time. And I think, and of course, Hamilton.
Of course.
I freaking love Hamilton. I just can't.
You gotta. Hamilton is great.
Hamilton's great. There's a couple others that I do need to get to in due time. I do need to listen to the entirety of Heathers. I've only been...
You sure
I know.
do.
It's like
Ooh.
it's like I've been exposed to plenty of songs throughout time because plenty of animatics, and of course, our dear co-host Howie has showed me legit like 7 animatics.
Look, there's some good stuff in that show, okay?
Yes.
And there's some songs that nobody blocks well, and I have feelings about it.
Indeed. And so there's plenty of musicals where I already know that I'm going to like stuff like said Heathers and Beetlejuice, because I did watch, the one thing from the Tonys I did watch was the Beetlejuice performance, which was good. And I was like,
So,
heck yes.
good.
And all the TikToks of the freaking
Yes,
songs.
of course.
And I'm like, I know I'm going to like this. Yeah, so Heathers, Beetlejuice, I know I'm going to like them. But I haven't gotten to them yet, and I will someday. One that I completely forgot and still was like, I should have listened to this, was the Percy Jackson musical. 'Cause that's
Shoot, we should have done that, huh?
Yeah, because that was on Spotify, and I didn't listen. I have it legit right here. I'm like, how did I forget that one?
Fine. You know,
Well,
it's fine.
Because people have different opinions. I've heard some people say, this is great, I'm so happy. And then I heard, it's fine. You know, it's fine. So I was just like, okay. And I was going to put my hat in the ring, and then I just realized my hat is still on my head. So
Hey, well, you know, sometimes you realize you're wearing a hat.
yeah.
Sometimes it's a fedora. Sometimes it's some sombrero.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a Stetson.
Absolutely.
And you never know what's gonna happen.
Yep, you never know what's gonna happen. Maybe by the end,
I'm
I would have had
definitely not
no
out of
hat.
it right now.
Yes, well, there you go. That's how we know this is going to be good.
How we know what's up.
We know what's up because Howie's just like drugged out. Like,
I'm loopy, dude. Look, when I talk, I'm so loud that I give myself a headache, and we're already in that zone. So like this is gonna be an interesting time.
Oh, this is going to be a definitely interesting time. Okay, so let's just start off with big questions. What would you say is like one of your favorite musicals, if not your favorite?
See, the thing is, there's so many good ones.
Yes.
I love Hadestown.
Oh yeah.
I like Hadestown. Hadestown is very interesting. I have mixed feelings about Hadestown, actually.
Same.
I do love the music though,
Mhm.
and I like a lot of the concepts.
Yes.
We can get into details later if we want to,
Mhm.
but I really like Hadestown. I love Secret Garden. I love Scarlet Pimpernel.
Still need to
I
listen.
love what are others? Okay, if we're talking about musicals, I don't know if you've heard of Star Kid musicals, but the guy who
Yes.
didn't like musicals is a really good musical.
You've been trying to get me to watch that one in particular
It's
for
so
so long, and I
funny.
just haven't.
Horror,
I've
comedy, satire, musical.
Well, yeah, because you've shown me 2 of the songs, and they were legitimately hilarious, and I loved
So
them.
good.
But
good.
like, I just haven't. I just continue to forget ADHD brain.
You know, that's fair.
Yeah. I was like,
That's very fair.
I'm definitely gonna watch this. Then I get home, and then I plop on my bed. And I was like, was I supposed to do something?
And you just watch Minecraft for 3 hours.
There you go. The Minecraft musical. Let's go. No, I'm joking. Hasn't come
on,
out
writers.
yet. But
We have
honestly,
an alien musical.
I could
Come on.
totally see that being a thing. Now. just like somebody, just like Hero Brian's the secret villain, and like Steve's trying to save the day. I have no clue, but honestly, I could see something fun happening with that.
I know there are others that I'm missing, but those are the ones I'm gonna state for now.
Yes.
But I'm also gonna say a thing that we will probably have to talk about at some point.
Okay.
But one of my favorite musicals is Cats.
I knew it. I knew it.
I will not
I knew
apologize for this.
it.
It's really good, and I'm
haven't-
prepared to defend it.
Yeah, I know. And me here, who's, because of all of the dumbness that was the Cats movie, has not seen anything or listened to anything, has decided no.
It's okay. That's okay. It's not for everyone. It's not for
yes.
everyone for a multitude of reasons.
It's like, I feel like it's going to be a movie that, or because I'm probably going to watch the movie because not as many of the Broadway versions are on streaming sites. So, like,
Soundtracks that are on Spotify aren't that good.
oh, no.
I don't know. The one that I grew up with is the one that you can search on YouTube. It's just Cats, the full thing. And it's got all these really annoying like clips in the middle because it's a bunch of different videos with these little end cards. They shoved other music in there and it's really obnoxious. But like it's on there.
Okay.
It's available for viewing. And if you don't if you have a VHS player, I've got it on VHS. So like
I honestly, I'll just go to DI once it reopens and buy one for like $10.
Bro, we can what are your favorite musicals?
Okay, my favorites, I don't know why, still number 1 of all time is Phantom of the Opera. Like, it's just weird. And the thing is like, I also love the movie, which apparently is a big no-no for the Phantom of the Opera fan base. I was like,
I have seen clips, and it looks very interesting.
It is very interesting. And of
I have not
course,
seen
with
the movie.
Russell Crowe as the Phantom, everyone's just like, no, I don't know. Maybe because I'm not as diehard. I thought he did fine, and it's like, it's weird. It's very weird, but it adds to the charm for me, and I just find it over dramatic and honestly really
I love
fun.
that. I'm extremely on board with that.
Yeah, it's just like, I've always loved the songs. I still would like to be the Phantom in a performance once in my life. That would be awesome.
That would be so cool.
Yes. So that's my number 1. Although my number 2 of Hamilton
Oh,
really
Hamilton is
contests
also very
it.
good. Shoot, yeah.
Oh yeah, Hamilton contests it quite a bit because it's just like I know all those songs by heart by now, and I love them, and still listen to it, and I'm just like, okay, this is like a battle between nostalgia and my dreams, and a super good musical that I just love to pieces. And like, ah,
Mhm.
that one's difficult because it's just like I do love Hamilton a lot.
Yeah.
I want to perform as good old Thomas Jefferson and
I do know that.
Lafayette because I love
Ooh.
them.
I'm into that.
Like as one of the people who can frickin' rap guns and chips. Well, I I love it. Yes.
We got a bit of bragging over here.
Not bragging. I'm not amazing, but I can do it.
All right, one of the few people who can do it.
Well, no, because it's just like I've seen a lot of people attempt and be like, "Yo, I'm so good at this." And
How do you
then
know
they're
you're not one of those people?
Well, I'm not.
My question.
No, well, no.
Do it. Do
no,
it.
no,
Do
no,
it.
no.
Do
Who
it.
knows? If anything, we could get
Oof.
copyrighted for this.
Oh, do
It doesn't.
15. Do 10 seconds of it.
No.
Do 14
You
seconds.
do know that
I'll time
even
it.
5 seconds, they will try to claim. Like
I
that's
thought it was 15 seconds.
you said.
Maybe that's just for
Well,
podcasts.
yeah, but with 15, like here's the thing, dumb thing. This is copyright coming out of nowhere, but we discussing. YouTube's copyright system broken as frick.
I don't even want to get into that. It's the worst.
Well, yeah.
It's the worst thing.
Because the thing is, with other podcasts, because I know there are YouTube podcasts, and they will say how, hey, we legitimately just spoke what was lyrics to a song, and the entire podcast was claimed.
That's okay. I don't even. Don't get me started on this.
Yeah, okay.
Don't get me. We need to shift gears.
Okay,
I can't
we'll
talk
shift
about this.
gears again. Okay. So
Favorites.
okay,
Phantom of the
favorites.
Opera.
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Third. Oh, that's okay. It's weird how I could say the first two easily, but it's the third that's just something like.
What's your
I
dilemma?
don't
What's your
know.
dilemma?
Okay, it's between Grease because of how awful yet awesome it is. Oh, dang. And
Come on,
Hadestown
man.
at the moment.
Hadestown is really good.
Hadestown is really good. I just listened to it, and of course, because I love everything Greek mythology and I love that particular story,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just really good. I can just like I would potentially put frickin' Dear Evan Hansen, but I haven't seen the actual performance. I can go track, which I love.
Man. Ben
Yeah.
Platt, though.
Yeah,
Ben Platt, though.
Love Ben Platt.
Oh my gosh.
It's like
What is? Go
well,
on.
yes. Yeah, well, no, you go. 'Cause
Well, I
you
was
said
gonna say, are there any because there are a lot of really random, obscure musicals. Are there any of those that you've discovered recently or just enjoy that are really just sort of out there? Because there's some wild stuff out there.
Well, there's a lot of out there stuff, and it's like
Out there.
there's like some where I hear they're apparently on Netflix, and I don't know if I'll
What?
give it a try. Like apparently Shrek the Musical is on.
Shrek the Musical is pretty good.
I haven't given it a shot. I listened to one song and I was like, I don't know. It's like
It is better than the movie Don't At Me.
oh, dang, that's a very controversial
It's a pretty
statement.
bold claim.
That is a very bold claim.
The only major problem is just Donkey is an issue.
Well, yeah.
In the transition, it doesn't work well.
Well, yeah, because Donkey is Eddie Murphy. You can't
You
replace
can't get Eddie Murphy for that.
And it's like I hear there's some good things, but at the same time, I hear it's just weird to have Shrek of all things as a musical.
In terms of the story, it hits a lot stronger than the movie does. It puts the focus where the focus needs to be, which makes Donkey feel kind of extra as a character
Oh,
anyway. He was already
no.
going to feel extra. Um,
Yeah.
but the not extra like extra, but like just sort of
Yeah.
not entirely
Just like an average.
necessary.
Yeah.
But like it puts the focus where it needs to be. It contains the. I'm not a big fan of scatological humor personally. It can like
Yeah.
it's pretty. It's pretty nice about it. What's the right word? I'm not sure what the right word is, but like it keeps it pretty relaxed. And it can, I don't know, it's tastefully used, which is a weird thing to say, but it is.
Okay.
And they amplify the things that should be amplified, and they tamp down the things that should be tamped down,
Mm-hmm.
and they tighten up things that should be tighter, and they expand on things that should be expanded on. And it's very good. It's very well done.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll give it a shot. There's a lot of things that I should maybe just give a shot. I don't know if I'll love them, but
Don't throw away your shot, man.
yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna throw away my shot. There we go. In terms of weird musicals, there's always one that has stupefied me, and because I've listened to a song or two, and I need to listen to it all or see it all, and that's the SpongeBob musical.
Wow,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's weird. Very weird. There's some things that I've liked because I saw a performance for like a plankton rap that was actually legitimately dope.
My gosh.
And I was like, what? But what? What? Like, apparently it was something that even Steven Hillenburg worked on before he passed. And I was like,
The whole thing is the whole sort of concept is that they had for the actual music is they got different super famous pop artists to write each of the songs.
What?
So there's one written by like Panic at the Disco or whatever. Like it's some wild
Whoa.
stuff. And I haven't listened to all of it. I've listened to a little bit of it. I didn't watch SpongeBob growing up. I
Yeah.
am not particularly into it. But the
Interesting.
what's it called? It's the Squidward song.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's very good.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That was also really good. But there's also stuff in it that I saw that was like the in betweens, and there
I'm
was
not a
like,
loser. That's it.
yes, I am not a loser. I'm not a loser. Yeah, okay.
So good.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I was like, okay, there's a lot of good stuff. But then I also saw that when they were just having dialogue, there was like those mimi air horns from like 2013 in it. Like,
Oh
"Bam,
no.
bam, 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 bam." It's
Oh
like,
no.
I was like, oh no.
Oh dear.
So I don't know. It, it has some good stuff, but then it could be a good mix of cringe and great. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna
Eh.
give it a shot Sunday. Who knows?
All right. Well, let me know how that goes.
Yeah. So I know that there's a lot of weird musicals that have come out through the ages, and
Mhm.
I'm just like, I don't know all of them. I'm not.
Mhm.
It's like I like musicals. I've always been a fan. I've performed in some, like you have as well, and
Yes.
they're big. Like I love me some classics like Annie as well, and all these others. But I just don't know all of the musicals.
There's so many.
There's so many. Like one that apparently is a classic that every single friend of mine who likes Hamilton criticizes me on is that I haven't watched Rent. And I'm
Right?
like,
Yeah.
they're just like, what? Why haven't you? I was like,
Mhm.
I haven't had the time. Apparently, it was like a movie from 2008.
I think the movie isn't that good, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I'm out here just pretending. I'm just out here trying to enjoy some musicals.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Except that I know a decent amount about the musicals that I enjoy.
Yes. Yeah, and there's like plenty of classics that I haven't watched as well, like the Scarlet Pimpernel.
It's so good.
Yes.
The Scarlet Pimpernel is written by the same people who wrote
Phantom? Is it Android Lloyd Webber?
No.
No, it's not.
Same people who wrote it's either, what the heck is it called? I'm pretty sure it's written. The music is written by the same people who wrote Sweeney Todd, which is also another
Ah,
excellent one.
another one that I
That I
need to
didn't see until
watch.
recently.
Yeah, I
Do you know
haven't
something
either.
wild about Sweeney Todd?
What?
Sweeney Todd is the base point of my origin story as a extant human being.
What? Dang.
So here's the thing. My mom came home from serving a religious mission thing, and she came home, and her sister was like, "Come see me and Sweeney Todd. Come watch the dress rehearsal." So she went to see the dress rehearsal, and my dad was playing Sweeney Todd. And that was just sort of a transcendent spiritual experience for her, coming back to musicals, and that's how they met.
Oh, wow.
And then so some years down the line, they get married. They have me, and apparently we watched it all together, me and my parents and I, a few weeks ago. And apparently there has been my dad's prop razor just hanging on the wall, in the room where I grew up sleeping.
Oh.
It's just because our house looks like an I Spy book. There's stuff all over every single wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's just a Sweeney Todd razor just chilling there. And I'm like, oh, this is why I am the way I am.
There we go. It's
yeah, that's why. This explains a lot.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, because it's like I've heard good things about Sweeney Todd, but I've also heard that they're just like, the only way you can really watch it is the movie with Johnny Depp. And I'm like,
I disagree.
I was like,
I disagree. Sweeney Todd is it's over dramatic. It's operatic. It's big and romantic in the in the artistic style sense of the word, and that is not conveyed in the Johnny Depp version. It's very it's good, but I mean, the vocals are everything. You have to have that, and it just doesn't convey the same tone. It doesn't capture what it is. And I enjoyed it, but then I saw it on stage. You can get it on Amazon, and it's so good. Ah,
well,
I need things to be dramatic. I need things to be spooky and unsettling in my musicals. I need it, and I don't know why.
Okay, because
I want it to be creepy.
Yeah, you wanted to be creepy and all that. I was like, okay, because like I said, I haven't watched it. I haven't really listened to it, so I've heard really good things. So I should give it a shot someday. So now I definitely need to watch and listen to it.
You'll enjoy it, I think.
Yeah.
What I was saying was that the Scarlet Pimpernel music was either written by the same people who wrote Sweeney Todd. Now I'm thinking maybe I'm incorrect. I think they wrote the Jekyll and Hyde musical. Is the one that they wrote.
Didn't know that was a musical.
It's, oh my gosh, there's some good stuff in there. But these people, I have never heard. So we've both done theater things, and one thing that my director of my little theater group that I was in high school said is that the reason why you start singing is because you cannot express the emotions you're experiencing any other way. And the same thing goes for a key change. In my mind, I don't think she said that, but you take it up a level because what you are feeling and trying to express cannot be contained to or expressed on the level you were doing it previously. Which is why key change down, you're bringing it down or offsetting it. Key change up, you're building it up. It's bursting out. And I've never heard key changes done as well as they're done in the Scarlet Pimpernel. There's one moment in the song Prayer where you can just hear the man's soul break into. It's It's the good stuff. It's the good stuff. It's an excellent album. I've only seen the show once, but the music is fantastic.
Okay.
Would highly recommend.
Yeah, because you've shown me a song or two, and they were definitely very good. The thing is like it's very dramatic, and I'm like,
What do you mean?
well, no, just like the overall tone, like it was very orchestral, and all of the voices were like almost operatic, and I was like, okay, it's because maybe I just like I don't know, I like a bit more of like the modern sounding, not where everything's clear in the way that they sing. You can tell exactly every single word that they're saying right then and there. Even though I do like the Phantom of the Opera, which
I was about to say.
I was just like, okay, that's why I was like, okay, like I might, because there are plenty of like classic operas / musicals that I just don't like as much. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
That's fair.
I'm trying to remember. It's the one with the Queen of the Night.
Queen of the Night? Oh. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that musical / opera. That is like, it has some good music. But
I have not seen
can't.
any operas, and I feel I need to. I should.
Yeah. It's like, that one is like, they've got good stories, but I can't tell what they're saying. And that's a big thing for me. I was like,
Yeah. I think that's fair. Opera's not for everybody. I don't even know if it's for me yet.
Yeah.
I do feel like I need to get into it though, because we've been, stuck inside.
Yes.
We got a subscription to a like Roku channel that has a bunch of Shakespeare and plays and operas and ballets and things. So we've been watching some of that, and I really need to get into the operas and see what's what over there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I want to know
Yes.
what you thought of Hadestown and Dear Evan Hansen.
Okay, here we go. I was just about to bring that up as well. I was like, I want to talk about Hadestown because I really like Hadestown. There's some things that I've noticed when listening. I was like, this sounds inspired by Hamilton, for sure. I don't know if it was. It just definitely sounds inspired by Hamilton. With the main singer kind of coming in, giving off kind of like Burr vibes at the beginning, kind of like the
in
announcer.
terms of character or vocals or vocal performance or what?
A bit of both, with at least Hermes.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I got that vibe.
Well, there is some like spoken word type stuff going on,
Yes.
so that's gonna happen.
That was the main vibe when I got from that, and of course, if I get Hamilton vibes, I'm like, okay, I like that. I also like how I feel like with all of Hadestown, the entire story is with the song. I don't know if there's much dialogue in between, which
I think there's a little.
I think there'll be a little bit here and there.
Mostly the music.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. There's a comment that just came up. It's like, what are your thoughts on Hadestown Broadway versus original? And I was like, is there original Hadestown?
A comment where? What?
Okay, because people are saying there's comments. So somebody just commented, Jack333, what are your thoughts on Hadestown Broadway versus the original?
Oh my
There's
gosh,
an original?
My chat hasn't been updating. Yes, there is an original. Thank you for asking that. So there's there's a concept album, then an original, and then they reworked it for Broadway.
Yeah, because
I don't know much about it.
Because all I have is the original Broadway cast recording, which is what I listened to.
The thing I do have thoughts about this.
Okay.
The thing about this is that because there's a lot of really, really good stuff about the Broadway Hades Town that I like. I think there are a lot of improvements. There are ideas that are expanded that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
There's also just a lot more music to listen to
Yes.
that I've heard. And it's a lot more accessible to people, which I understand. Um, like in doing that, like they really streamlined it,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like the
It is
like
very fast for a very big
I
story.
mean, I don't know about like fast, but
Well,
like
not
it's
fast,
very
fast because it's two
simplified.
hours. But but when
Yeah,
I listened to it, it didn't feel like 2 hours.
yeah. It is it is simplified and it
Mm-hmm.
is literalized. There's
Yes.
more spelling out of the ideas and literally saying a thing over. There's a lot of like very evocative abstract poetry and very beautiful words and phrasing
Mm-hmm.
in the original version
Oh,
that
okay.
is replaced by making sure the audience understands what's happening
Oh,
in the Broadway version.
yeah, because I listened to
There's
it and it did feel simplified in terms of like
yeah,
how they could have gone with the story and whatnot and the words that they used in
it
songs.
feels exactly. It feels like they took a let's see. I want to like do one example specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I want the original and then the Broadway cast. The it feels like a it feels like there it was this sort of like unbound, abstract, sort of surreal piece, and then they like whittled it down into a very clear and straightforward essay.
Okay.
And I don't love that. Some of the sound was changed a little bit as well to feel more Broadway-ish. So like I get what you're saying about Hamilton vibes. I get for some reason mostly specifically with Eurydice and some of the
Yes.
just like songs between Eurydice and Orpheus.
Yeah.
I get Dear Evan Hansen vibes and it feels a little
A
bit
little bit.
bizarre.
I got that.
It feels a little bizarre. Let's see. Ep.2 is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Hades Town.
Yeah.
Um,
Because when I listened to it, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I can't. It's like I had mixed feelings because I was like, this isn't one of the greats of all time, but it's very enjoyable. There were some songs that legitimately I was like, oh, I love this, and I think it's just mainly "Wait for Me" and all of its reprises.
so good.
I
Yeah.
love "Wait for Me." Uh, with the little bit of like Hamilton vibes for when it came to Hermes. I liked some of it. At the very beginning, I wasn't a big fan, but the tone that actor went towards the end was way more dire, and you could tell. Well, he put a lot more emotion into it, and I really liked
Mm-hmm.
it when he did that those couple of times. Um,
Mm.
there's some of the stuff that felt very streamlined because as well I'm pretty sure there was actually dialogue between these characters at points that probably would have helped a lot, and it's probably dialogue between Eurydice and Orpheus.
Yeah. Another part of that is there are some things that are unclear just listening to the
Mm-hmm.
just listening to
The soundtrack.
the album.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because there are scenes, but because there's a lot of visual symbolism going on. My
Yeah.
friend went to see it on Broadway, and then he called me, and we spent 4 hours recapping the whole thing to me. So there's a lot that gets um, missed. Okay, so here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in Hades Town, is it okay if I read lyrics? Will we get got by
I think we'll be
YouTube?
fine. I feel like the people
Okay.
from Hades Town aren't
We're
going in
discussing.
particular wouldn't care about
Yeah.
it. Uh,
So in the Hades Town original Broadway Ep.2,
mm-hmm.
in both versions Orpheus is I believe in both versions Orpheus is singing to Hades about about Hades and about his story and
Yes.
about how he met and fell in love with Persephone.
Yes, that is.
In the Broadway version, it says, so he's singing. He says, King of Shadows, King of Shades, Hades was king of the underworld, but he fell in love with a beautiful lady who walked up above. In her mother's green field, he fell in love with Persephone, who was gathering flowers in the light of the sun. And I know how it was because he was like me, a man in love with a woman singing la 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 la. In the original, it goes like this. Heavy and hard is the heart of the king. King of iron, king of steel. The heart of the king loves everything like the hammer loves the nail. But the heart of a man is a simple one, small and soft, flesh and blood. And all that it loves is a woman. A woman is all that it loves. And Hades is king of the scythe and the sword. He covers the world in the color of rust. He scrapes the sky and scars the earth. And he comes down heavy and hard on us. But even that hardest of hearts unhardened, suddenly when he saw her there, Persephone in her mother's garden, sun on her shoulders, wind in her hair, the smell of the flowers she held in her hand, and the pollen that fell from her fingertips. And suddenly Hades was only a man with the taste of nectar upon his lips, singing la 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 la.
Holy
Isn't
crap!
that better?
That's so
Isn't that
much
just
better.
kind of a little bit better?
Oh
So
my gosh!
there is a lot of stuff
it makes
like
me
that.
feel like
that
they're
is
insulting my intelligence. Oh my lord!
So the thing is that there's a lot of stuff like there's a lot of good stuff that is added and refined in the Broadway version, but there's a lot of stuff like that that is just lost, and I understand why they had to take it out. But
now I really want to listen to the
sad.
original.
You really, really should. It's a little bit scattered. You can listen to some of it on Spotify, but I believe you can listen to all of it on YouTube.
Okay.
So it's tricky. I think some of the themes make more sense in the original, though it's kind of hard to get a grasp on what's going on in the original because it is a lot more abstract. And it's less accessible as an album in terms of understanding the exact story. Which is, you know, another one of those things that they had to change to make it more accessible. But I think that some themes get a little bit confused in the transition to the Broadway version. It's less about Orpheus's fatal flaw, which is kind of weird to me because that's sort of the whole point.
Yes.
But then they do explore some other good fun stuff, but it's kind of a little bit like, okay, we want to take these, whereas the original seems like, all right, we're going to do a retelling of this story and we're going to add some things to flesh that out a little bit. The Broadway version feels like we're going to tell we're going to tell our own story and also the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. We're going to use these characters and ideas as a vehicle to tell the story that we want to tell. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah. But it's kind of confusing at times, I think. And I think it muddles what they're trying to say. And I don't even fully understand what they're trying to say at times. I need to do a deep dive into both versions of Hadestown because I really want to understand, which is why I say I have mixed feelings about Hadestown, but it is one of my favorites because it is a little complicated and a little bit mixed up between the two versions, and I really just need to, but it's really fascinating to me, and I love things in both versions, and I really I want to do a much deeper dive than I have done into what's going on with both of them and figuring out the themes and what they're about and what it means and how I feel about it and what changed and why it changed and stuff like that. So complicated feelings, but I really love it.
Yeah, because that was something that I felt, because it's just I really liked it because, of course, I love the original story, and thinking how they were able to turn it into a musical, which is actually perfect for this type of Greek story. And I was just okay, let's see what you got. And with the different themes of the different songs, where it was either pop or kind of old bluesy, or there was a little bit of hip hop here and there, and I was okay, I'm liking this. And it's I like Orpheus, the lovable doof, Like, he's just a
Love it.
dude who's very confident in love and his abilities. And I was like, okay, dang.
Can be the lovable doof. I do think, I don't know, I had a really interesting conversation with my friend, and there's like some, to me, there's some like neurodivergent coded vibes,
Mm-hmm.
like autistic coded vibes.
A little
Um,
bit.
and I don't know. There's a lot of really interesting stuff
True.
in here. That might be reading too much into it, but Orpheus is very
Maybe.
interesting as a
Yeah.
character.
Agreed. And it's just like at the beginning, I could tell because I didn't watch the full thing. There were some things I missed out on because it feels like he just met. I'm trying to remember. Oh, dang, brain fart.
Eurydice?
Eurydice. Yeah, it felt like he just met Eurydice and was like, "Okay, you're beautiful. Let's get married." And I was like, "Oh, good lord."
That would be in Grecian times in the myths.
I know. Well, it do feel like that, but maybe, who knows? Maybe it is this way in the full production, but it feels like they actually added. Maybe there was a little bit more where they may have talked, and it may have been a little bit more than just, "Hey, you're pretty. Marry me."
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think
Yeah, because
there. Yeah. Go ahead.
because that as always, because of how rushed it is, I'm just like, okay, I can get that they're in love, but at the same time, this is very rushed.
Well, I mean, that's just sort of the structure of the myth, is the thing, because
True.
it kind of like, you know, they gotta be in love pretty quick so that you can explore the ideas of the rest of it.
Yeah, and it's like it
That
did
is
work.
set up to the plot.
It did
isn't
work
the
for it. It did
end
feel
goal of the plot.
believable, especially with the Eurydice song.
Man, I love her songs a
Oh
lot.
yeah, because her songs, because she was the one that obviously wasn't feeling it at first, and then was actually feeling it, and then you could tell she really did love him with her songs. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's real nice.
I relate to Eurydice in a lot. I mean, her whole idea of, I don't know. I love a character that is in love and wants to be in love, but has difficulty being vulnerable.
Yes, that okay, yeah, and okay. Oh dang, did I just lose? No, I lost. No, Pin,
What?
come back. Okay, sorry. There was a
What?
thought I had, and I was just like, I was
Oh.
about to say this, and then it went away. I'm like, no. Okay.
Come back.
Come back. Come back.
You lose it? Do you have it?
Okay, it's like right there. I could see it, but but like, okay, because it's
Moving to something else help, or will that make it worse?
maybe.
Because I had
moving.
other things to say.
Okay, move on. It might come back.
All right. Something that is like, something that's sort of an interesting paradox is that, like, seeing this live is the way to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
The albums are very, very good, but if you look up live performances of it, especially like, there's some performance of like, Lady of the Underground in
Mhm.
particular, and it looks like it's in like a club or something. Like, it's a
Yeah.
really small stage with like colored lights, and it's very dark, and but like they're just vibing. Like, it's such good music.
Mhm.
And if you like, I would highly recommend looking up live performances of all of this, because these performers are amazing as well.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is that in making it more streamlined and accessible for the Broadway version, they like, you can really feel that a lot more in the original version.
Mm-hmm.
In adapting it for the Broadway version, in terms of like the album, you lose a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like the music, the instrumentality is not a word, I don't think, but like that is like less tangible. It's still there and it's still amazing, but it's harder to grab onto with the Broadway version. So like, it's just interesting what they made easier and what they lost because they made it easier, and what they made better but what got like minimized. I don't know, it's just fascinating to me.
Okay, my point, it came back. I found it.
Yes. Awesome, go for it.
Okay, so another thing that I was thinking, and you did bring it up, is just like there is a lot of things that feel hollow while just listening to the soundtrack, and I'm just like, okay, there's a lot of this that sounds good, and I can imagine it and cool, but I feel like if I watched the performance, it would be even better.
Yep.
And I was also thinking about how one thing that kind of felt hollow that you brought up that I'm just like now feeling robbed by the original with the Broadway is freaking Orpheus's magnum opus. It sounds so simple in the Broadway version.
Epic 3 is my favorite of the original.
Oh yeah, and I'm just like, with it sounding so simple, and then knowing that the original was way more complex and sounding like an actual epic that he's put so much time into, it kind of...
that's the thing. It sounds like an actual epic.
Yeah, because he didn't hear freaking Eurydice's cries as well,
it's
because
poetry.
He was working so hard on this.
Exactly. And then he comes out and he's like, he fell in love and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
That's
come
what
on.
I'm saying.
Your wife died.
Yeah, your wife died.
And went to the underworld.
And all you have to say is, sorry, bro, because I was working on this sick, sweet, simple song.
And all you have to say is he fell in love with a beautiful lady. Excuse me?
Yeah.
And I know how it was because he was like me, a man in love. See, that's some of the... And that there's some spelling out that's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like that. I know how it was because he was like me, a man in love with a woman.
Okay.
And then Hades is like, where'd you get that melody? I'm like, gosh dang it, musical, we know they're the same. We know they're a parallel. We know they're supposed to be foils. Like, your musical motifs and vocal motifs are so strong. Why are you weakening your songs with just explicitly spelling things out in the lyrics?
Agreed.
It's so frustrating.
But the thing is like, when I heard it in the album, that specific part though, or Orpheus's performance, whoever was the person who sang for Orpheus, he really sold it in that part, so I forgave it a little bit. I was like, this is spelling it out, but it's spelling it out really well.
That's the dilemma.
Yeah,
that's the dilemma.
That's always a dilemma for me, because it's just like, you can do some stupid things, but if you do them really well, I could forgive you for that. Yeah,
for sure. I'm curious to know what your favorite song is from the Hades on Broadway version.
Wait for me.
For sure.
When I listened to it, legitimately, really I was jamming out at work. Like, I was there. I was like, when I listened to Wait For Me, I was like, oh, this is epic. I love this so much.
I love the reprise especially.
Yes, the reprise. Oh, and the thing is like, I also really liked Doubt Comes In / Road to Hell. I see them together as one big old track. And
I'm sending you the original of Doubt Comes In, because there's more of the... I mean, that's another one where they expanded and then spelled things out.
Yes, because it would be good. Because the thing is like, you can tell that Orpheus really did try hard. And it was like, that's a good thing. Because, of course, with the original epic, it's just more like, he was doing fine. He was getting all the way to the end, and then just a little bit of doubt, and he looked back. No, with this song and this... it really shows that he tried very hard to thinking about, okay, I can kind of hear, I know she loves me, she's coming, but also doubt really set in, and he was so close. And with the way that the orchestra just like pushes the mood into showing, hey, he was really close. Legit, like, if he stepped even a little bit out, she would have been with him. And I was like, oh, Lord. Yeah, because it's like, I knew the original story. It's one of my favorites of the original epics. And yet, I still was like, is she going to make it? Because it's so sad. It made me feel like I know what's going to happen, and that's just going to crush me.
Yeah.
Oh, because
so good.
Yeah, because this boy, so simple, so maybe a little bit on the spectrum, went down to mother effing hell and was like, hey, Hades, I love this girl. Can she come back with me?
Which I love. He's
Oh,
so just like he's just open and honest and exactly what he is, and
oh
he
yeah.
just says what he wants and
Mm-hmm.
says what he means, and it's really refreshing to have that in. Like, he doesn't even really feel like a protagonist, actually, to me.
True, he
Even though
does it. If
it's
anything,
probably
I don't know. I
Hades and
kind
Persephone
yeah,
are the
that's what I was
primary
gonna
focus,
say.
and I love it. But I was
Yeah.
gonna say that that's like just a very that's very refreshing to have in your sort of like supposed primary male character.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun to have that, and then this very like world weary um kind of the world weary closed off
Yeah.
um female lead,
Mm-hmm.
romantic lead, and the I don't, but it's not done in like a Hallmark movie way where she hates Christmas and then he shows up and he loves Christmas and he convinces her to love Christmas with him. Like, he's just perfectly himself, and he's very simple and
Oh
very
yeah.
straightforward, and he feels deeply and he says what he feels.
Mm-hmm.
And like, Eurydice is very drawn to that, and
Yes.
I get it. It's cool. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I like the characterization in this show in both versions is just very it's very, I don't know if endearing is the right word,
I would say
but
endearing.
it's I really love it. I really love it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say endearing. I think he's endearing because I just really love the sweet, wholesome doofs. Because he does
Absolutely.
give. It's like, tech. He's okay. He's what we call a genius with no brains. In my opinion, it's like a term that I've seen with multiple characters where they're just like it's. I don't know if it's a specific trope where it's just these geniuses but they don't really know they're geniuses for the most part. They're just like, I'm just good at this thing. Don't really know why or how as much, but I'm really good at it. Because with him, he is a savant with music, and you can
Hmm.
tell, and he's just so good at it. And but I also feel like he doesn't have as many like social smarts, and not as
He really does not.
yeah, and
He has difficulty relating to people and validating Eurydice specifically.
yes,
The and he gets like, that's where I'm saying that it's kind of there are parts of it that are autistic coded, because I mean
mm-hmm,
he's brilliant, and the I he's like, there is a trope where it's like, okay, you have autism, which means you're a genius but you're
yeah,
horrible at everything social. I don't think that plays out quite this way.
no,
He has something he's extremely passionate about, and he fixates on it, and that ends up damaging his relationships to some degree. But as
yeah,
soon as he realizes that that's a problem, he goes to the end of the earth to fix it.
oh
And I don't. Oh,
yeah,
this
yeah.
this story moves me a
I
little.
know. It's, yeah, and it's just like because I think he's a very good representation of that kind of trope, and it's like I
I
like
think
that
he's the
trope.
best
But it's like,
version of it. I think a lot of people do it and they take it too far or do it really
yeah,
badly.
I think
Um,
he's one of the best. I've seen some in some book series that I've read that I really like as well. But he's definitely up there, and so just
if that is, I don't even know if that's the intent, but that's how it reads to me.
yes, same. Um, in yeah, sorry, I'm very scatterbrained because I'm just thinking of all the different things I
You're
really
good.
like about it.
Same.
Just like how technically I think there's just two sets of protagonists because it's just
Yes.
Orpheus and Eurydice and Persephone and Hades, and I'm pretty sure that was the intent because it just feels like two separate stories that meld into one, and I
They're
really like
supposed to
that.
be sort of like the things in, like, you hear in Chant, where
Hmm.
Orpheus is taught, which is one of my favorites from the Broadway version.
Yeah.
Like one of my like top three probably.
Hmm.
Um, because it's so good for a number of reasons. But the Orpheus talks about how the like this is the reason why the seasons are off and everything's wrong and there isn't any food and all this stuff. It's because of what's going on in the underworld. Like, the gods have forgotten the song of their love, and you
Hmm.
can like very clearly see, and you can see in the visuals, like seeing it in person, see, like actually seeing the show, like the things that are happening in the underworld with the gods are ripple out to affect the things that are happening in the mortal world. And the and so the I can't remember where where I
Mm-hmm.
branched off on this. Wait, why?
Okay.
Oh yeah, and so you can see like their story echoed in Orpheus and Eurydice's story.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Another point. I just love this interpretation of Hades. Hades
So good,
is
so
dope. I
interesting.
did not expect this at all, but
Mm-hmm.
boy, did I really enjoy it. It took me by surprise that he's just like this Western dude who's like a cowboy, kind of like, or like, I'm trying to
He's
think.
more
I'm
like
trying to think
the
of the best.
vibe is more New Orleansy
Well, New Orleansy? I
in
was,
terms of the actual like musicality of it.
well, yeah, musicality
Is
wise.
what people who know more things about music than I do have told me.
Okay. Because he gives off like that ranch owner who just like struck gold and like that kind of
Yeah,
vibe, who's just deep within his own mind and the greed of the world and
industrial revolution
the
guy.
industrial revolution. And I found that really cool. Uh, like, a, like it's so good when your introduction to him is this deep, gravelly voice and be like, I
His
missed
voice.
you. And I was like,
Oh my gosh, I
oh.
can't believe you went that low. What the heck?
Yeah, I can go that
I
low.
didn't know you could do that.
Yes, that when I was hearing his songs, I was like, oh, I could sing those. That would be awesome.
Oh, okay.
uh,
We do covers at some point.
oh yeah, we're doing covers. It's just like, and I just love this interpretation. Just like this big man in town, this head honcho that just has like his heart has grown colder with doubt over time, and I do like how Orpheus just warms it back up so quickly with the song, and I was like, oh yes, yes. The
Uh,
the one thing that I want to see the musical in person for, especially, I want to see Persephone more
oh my
and how
gosh.
she's interpreted. Because in the soundtrack, she sounds like she has a lot of personality, and and I feel like we're robbed of that because we don't get to see all of it
Hmm.
because it's definitely
She's like,
mostly
if
on
you're gonna
stage.
see it live for any person, you're seeing it live for her. Like, look up. There's like I was saying, there's a rendition of Lady of the Underground,
Mm-hmm.
um, sung in this just great setting. And it's on YouTube. Just Lady of the Underground live. It's one of my favorite music things.
Yeah,
She's so brilliant.
because it's just like there's so much there with her part of the story that I feel like we just don't get to see because of of the soundtrack, and I very
Hmm.
much want to see that, and
Hmm.
because it sounds very intriguing and something that definitely wasn't as present in the original story, which I want to see. Just like
Hmm.
look through the cracks and you'll see the world, and I was like, oh, oh,
I
oh.
love one of my favorite things is just what you gonna do when the
Mm-hmm.
chips are down. Is that and the reprise are some of my other favorite songs.
Oh yeah, and overall, I think Hades Town is definitely really good and makes me want to see it in person. And really now just want a mixture of the original and the Broadway, if
Yeah,
possible.
honestly, please.
It's like it feels like it could be like a 5-star Broadway musical, and at the moment it's stuck at 4 stars for me.
I think it's in the four to like it as you listen to it, it waffles between like 4 and
Yes,
5,
yes,
and like it could have been a 6, and that's the thing, or it could hit 5 and then just
yeah,
stayed at 5
yeah.
forever.
That's what I
And
was saying. A
the
steady, solid 5. But it's
because of the like because it's because of the I don't know, the it feels like they like the original feels kind of timeless because they do lean into the myth, they lean into the um mythological themes, and they lean into
Mm-hmm.
the poetry of it,
Yeah.
and the and that, and then that surreal musicality going on. But the because they modernized it a little bit
Mm-hmm.
for the they Dear Evan Hansen and Hamiltoned it for the Broadway
Yeah.
version. It, I think that it will. I hope that it won't, but I think it will have less legs in the long term
Agreed.
than it would have done if they kept that stuff. I get why they did it. I'm not hating. I
Uh-huh.
think there's a lot of really good stuff. I think they made some really good choices in reworking it, but I feel there's definitely some lost potential there, mostly in the lyricism for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Agreed. I feel like
Even though
because
there's
of
still
these
so much great
choices,
stuff.
while it got a lot more people to listen to it in the first place, which
Hmm.
I feel like in the long run people will forget it for the most part over time. It will be like somewhat remembered. People will be like, "Oh yeah, Hades Town, I remember that one." But it won't be like, "Oh, this is a must watch for whoever needs to still watch it." Like,
Hmm.
oh, it does bug me. I just it's like I can
Go
see the
listen to it.
potential for the
Go listen
best
to it. It's
version.
really good.
Ah,
Yeah.
uh, now that we've finished talking about Hades Town, uh, let's quickly talk about Dear Evan Hansen because I can't say too
Yeah,
much
do it.
because I still need to watch the full version. I just listened to the soundtrack, and obviously there is a ton of dialogue in between the songs.
Yeah,
And I
there
was like,
is.
okay, I'm missing out on a lot. And I feel like if I watch it, this will be a very high tier, like high in my list of
Yeah,
musicals.
cool.
Yeah, because it's just like I love, because with the lyricism in these songs and the personality brought to them, oh, I feel like I'm just gonna love it. Uh,
Hmm.
Plus, I already love the songs. I love the soundtrack. Ben Platt is
Hmm.
dope, and all he does is great. Yeah.
He's Every time I hear his voice, I want to cry. It's so beautiful, and he's such a great artist in
Mm-hmm.
terms of vocalist. He's so good.
Yeah. Uh, I rem- in preparing for this, I tried to see what people's takes on the albums were. Apparently, recently there's been and a lot of people that are just like, "Oh, Dear Evan Hansen wasn't actually that good," and I was like, "Okay." Uh, and this was before I had listened to it, and they were like, "Yo, best song is Requiem, and the rest are trash." And I was like, "What?"
That's
And I
really
listened to it. And I was like,
I
"What?
disagree.
Requiem is one of the worst for me."
I would too. I'm so confused.
Yes.
Waving through a window though, like waving through a window though. How
Yeah,
can you
I
not say that that's the
love
best
waving
song?
through
You know
a
what
window.
I
I, I like For Forever. At this point in time, I just adore Sincerely
mean? I
Me.
knew it's precisely
Sincerely
your vibe.
Me is such my vibe. It's like funny and very like, oh, okay. It's always hard for me to express feelings at times, especially when it's like, because I love the high octane, I guess. Is that, what, would that be the best
I
description?
would not
No,
describe Sincerely
not
Me as
high,
being high
not
octane.
high octane. Just like it's very excitable. It makes you want to dance along with it and just like have
Yeah,
fun
it's
with it.
very fun.
It's very fun, and I love that. It's like immediately. What's that? Immediately, I was like,
Hmm.
hey, I want to know more about. I think it's Will Roland's character.
I
Uh,
don't know the actors' names beyond Ben
yes,
Platt, honestly.
yeah, because it's
I
Ben
do
Platt.
not know
Yeah,
a
and
lot about the
sincerely, I
show.
think Will Roland is the best friend that's in that song, and it makes me
Hmm.
immediately want to see his performance. I was like,
Hmm.
he had so much fun in just this one song. I could tell he probably went ham in the full performance, and I was like, okay. It's like when you go through a song and you just hear fun, dumb stuff like, huh, "My sister's hot." What the? I'm like,
There's a lot of
okay,
fun humor in there. There's a lot of like clever wordplay going on.
yeah,
From what I remember, Sincerely Me is pretty fun.
yeah. Sincerely, me is really fun, and I like. I do like this, and I feel like I need to listen to it again because there were some because it felt like the beginning was more memorable than the end because that was what I remember. But maybe I was just tired that day, to be honest. So
Fair enough.
fair enough. It makes me really want to see the original in its full glory because I've heard really good things about it. But that's all I have to say because it's just like
Alright.
I haven't seen the full thing. Now
Yeah, for sure.
to the big boy.
The big boy. The big boy when we have a little more than 20 minutes left.
Yes, Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton. Oh, it is coming to Disney Plus.
I'm so excited.
And I am so excited because I can finally watch the full thing that's not on YouTube in 240p. Wait,
The clip
well, you
that's
were the one that
super
sent me that, by the way.
really?
Yes. You're like, okay, on YouTube, I found the full thing. It's recorded from the very top, so it doesn't look good, but you can watch what it kind of looks like.
High school, and I didn't actually watch it.
Yes. And now that it's going to be the full thing, I'm very excited.
I'm really excited. I'm curious to see what they will change.
I don't
For
think they're
Disney
going to
Plus?
change.
There is a seduction scene.
Well,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
The
Like,
one
there's language.
song
There's
that I don't
language.
like in this entire stuff.
It's not an interesting song.
It's
just
not.
sort of there.
I know. It's there. And I understand what they were going for. And they had to say it. But at the same time,
You know, it's
no.
fine.
No.
I'm curious to see what they do with the language
Yes.
primarily.
I'm
And
also
I really
yes.
hope that they film it like they filmed Newsies, because that like dynamic camera style that they used was so awesome and so fun, and I really hope that they really got up in there. And I'm very curious to see what they do, what the full product looks like.
Yes.
Because what I have seen of the blocking of some of the songs on YouTube,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
not super. I'm kind of underwhelmed.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
what I
curious to
remember.
see
I
how
was
it
just like,
feels
because
watching the whole thing.
yeah, because it's just like I feel like it's going to be better with this because watching it on YouTube, I wasn't a big fan of the blocking as well, and it's just like I was like maybe the album is actually the definitive way of experiencing Hamilton, but there's also some key factors. It's the original cast that is going to be this live.
True.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And my love for Daveed Diggs is going to show how this is because I've seen a couple.
Who does Daveed Diggs play?
Daveed Diggs is Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson.
Gotcha.
And I've seen some because I watched the PBS documentary, small documentary they did, and they showed a little bit of Daveed Diggs playing as Thomas Jefferson, and oh, I loved that. What did I miss with that? I saw that. That is good, and if at least most of it has the vibes that at least those types of scenes can have for at least a good chunk of it, I think I'm going to really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I already just love practically everything that's Hamilton. Because all of the songs, I love it. Lyrically, I have the mother effing book.
Oh my
with all
gosh,
the
I didn't know
lyrics.
that.
Yes, I had the book with the lyrics and showing all the designs for the costumes and everything.
Oh my gosh, I want to see that. I want to see this book.
It's a good book. I got it back in 2017, I think. Well, no, 16.
Hey,
2016.
No. It hasn't been that long, has it?
Yes.
Oh my
It came out 2015.
Insane, dude.
I didn't even think about that. It's been half a decade. It does not feel like it at all.
It's been almost half a decade since I was in high school. SOS.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
having a
Yep.
existential
Oh.
crisis.
Yep. Big ol' SOS.
Man, favorite songs
Favorite songs: Guns and Chips.
for sure.
The Room Where It Happened.
Yes, underappreciated.
Oh,
The best song.
every single time
So
I
good.
listen to it, the freaking
Kill.
vibes, the like New Orleans type of vibes. Oh,
Not
heck
where it happens.
yes.
Burr.
Oh
Leslie Odom
yes.
Jones.
Yep. Okay, underappreciated song that I love from it. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Your Obedient Servant.
Your Obedient Servant.
Yes.
I
I
have
love
not
that one.
listened to that more
Yo.
than probably 3 times.
I've listened to it probably 10.
All right.
Well, probably because there was this one animatic of it that I really liked. It was very fun. It was because the thing is like there were a lot of people that, sadly, in my opinion, shipped a lot of these presidents, and
All
I
right,
wasn't
fair.
big for it. But
I'm
there
not
was,
surprised.
yeah, I'm not surprised, just disappointed. But there was one in that one animatic. It actually had that, and I was fine with it because
You're into it.
yeah, because the blocking and everything, I really liked how it went.
As long as you have good blocking, I don't care what you're doing for the most part.
Yes, and I really liked that one. Podcast,
Oh.
sister, every other Saturday. You know this. Yes, I'm recording. This is straight live streamed on
Live.
YouTube.
Live
Can't wait.
highlight of the podcast. While you're handling that, I will talk about my favorite songs.
No.
Favorite song? Satisfied, obviously. The Rumor Happened,
Yes.
also obviously.
Good thing about this great podcast is that every single blooper now will just be uploaded. So
Part of the texture of the. It's part of the texture, you know.
yes,
The texture of the product.
yeah. Honestly, oh
Right, you've got Your Obedient Servant.
yes.
And then there's
I
Rumor
I like that one. It's not like at the very top, but it is one that I think is underappreciated. That is really good.
I'll give it another look.
Aaron Burser, of course.
Really good.
Nonstop. Oh,
Non-stop.
the cabinet battles. Heck
Cabinet
yeah.
I really need to go back and listen to them
The
because I don't think
cabinet-
I've listened to them more than once actually.
Those roasts went so hard. I love those. Heck yeah. Like it, especially with, like I said, these animatics, it just gives like extra personality. It also made me really want the entirety of Hamilton to be animated because I feel like it could, with Hamilton, I feel like it would do even better in an animated format. Personally,
There's
don't
people
know.
doing some good animatic work
Oh,
on
yeah.
YouTube in
Heck
regards to Hamilton.
Yes, and
The Room Where It Happens. There's one for The Room Where It Happens. That's one of the
Yes.
best animatics I've ever seen on YouTube actually.
yes, it's off. Now, okay, I every now and then I somehow forget my favorite song from Hamilton.
What's your favorite song?
You'll be back soon. You'll see.
Soon you'll see. You
You'll
remember
remember you belong to me.
to me.
Because that is just perfect.
It's
so
good.
good. And it's
love
just like, because I've always loved that British pop. And freaking, they just went ham. And of course, Jonathan Groff in his lovely voice.
So good. And the one of my favorite things about You'll Be Back is all of the little and Jonathan Groff's You'll Be Back
Oh, yeah.
is all of the little subtle
Nuances,
humorous
yes.
digs in the accent.
Oh, yeah.
I love that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I love it so much. I don't see a lot of people doing it in the covers, and it makes me in covers that people do. It makes me sad because it's one of the funniest things about it is him playing with the accent.
Oh,
There's
yes.
so many little weird vowels that are just so.
Yes.
It's so
The
good.
way
It's
he
so good.
articulates some specific parts that just add so much. Oh,
You'll be back.
a full,
Soon you'll see.
a
You'll
fully armed
remember-
battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da. Oh,
I will say that that
Yes.
was the most frustrating thing pre having listened to Hamilton, being in a musical theater company.
Mm.
People going da 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 all the
No.
time. It's
Yeah,
so
you gotta
frustrating.
really.
I'm like,
Oh.
stop! What is this? And then I listened to it, and I was like, I get it.
Well, yeah, yeah. It's just like
I so
my problem is like with the covers, they don't accentuate it enough, and this
mm-hmm.
is an over dramatic on purpose performance, and it
And then
needs to happen. Like da 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 da. And you're like, you gotta go with it. People are just going da 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 da. No, no.
gotta
Okay.
go all out. It's so good.
Yes. What's a song other than the obvious say no to this that's your least favorite?
I haven't gone into my most favorites.
Oh, you should absolutely go in.
My favorites are "You'll Be Back," obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I have I also love Nonstop, but I have a special fondness for Nonstop and Farmer Refuted because me and my
Yes.
sister have memorized them, and we will just like occasionally one of us will just
Mm-hmm.
bust into a room, be like, "After the war, I went back to New York," and
After
then
the
the other
war.
one exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and there's some like quarantine karaoke things on Facebook. We
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to do Farmer Refuted for that, but we haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh
They're just so fun to just do with a friend.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, I also love Satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I like History Has Its Eyes on You. It's really short, it's pretty straightforward, but I
Yeah,
like it.
I like it, but
Um,
it never was one of my favorites. Uh,
Dear Theodosia,
I don't know.
also very good.
I don't know why.
So
I like
lovely.
parts of Dear Theodosia, but I don't like all of it.
I think I understand that. I think that Lin Manuel Miranda's voice
Yes.
was not built for Dear
Yes.
Theodosia,
It
which is too
really
bad.
is.
But like the heart of it and the expression of it, and Leslie Odom Jr. is so good.
Oh yeah.
Uh, just so his silky smooth voice is really
Mm-hmm.
good.
He
The Room Where It
deserved
Happens, 100% one of the best. And
easily.
then I have a very special place in my heart for Burn.
Yeah.
Um, they're like one of my friends' favorite things to ask people upon an initial conversation with them, getting to know them, is, are there any songs that changed you as a person?
Oh dang.
And Burn is one of the ones that changed me as a person. I was coming out of a really bizarre and difficult relationship at the end of high school, which you
Yes.
know all about.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm a very empathetic person.
Mm-hmm.
I am highly sensitive. I feel very deeply,
Mm-hmm.
and I am really understanding. And I'm not saying these things to like toot my own horn over here, but I'm not bragging. I'm saying that these are can be serious problems
Mm-hmm.
without learning how to manage them.
Yeah.
And like boundaries are understanding what healthy boundaries are is going to be a lifelong journey for me. um
Yes.
but because it used to be that I was like, all right, I understand why this happened and why they did that, and so I can't be mad about it. Like I don't I like I was basically I was a doormat in a lot of senses of the word.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just because I'm a very emotional, understanding. Like I like to think that I'm a generally pretty kind person.
Mm-hmm.
And the I speaking to a friend several months or like a year or something after I got out of that relationship, and like rewired my brain basically. They said, "Man, I was telling them about it because of someone that we both knew, and they were like, "Man, I thought that like as soon as you got out of high school, like at the end of high school, it really seemed like you just flipped an assertive switch."
Yeah.
And the I started being like, no, this is not okay, even though I understand why you did it,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're having a really rough time, this is not okay with me.
Yeah, there we
And
go.
this is not okay with me. I don't care. And I definitely overcorrected and I did not handle it well. And I was probably harsher than I needed to be,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a very necessary overcorrection. And the and Burn helped me realize like Burn I listened to Burn a lot during that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the just because the she's like, no, I'm taking back my own story. What you did, like I love you, but what you did was not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I'm not going to continue to support what's happening here. I'm getting out and I'm taking my story back and it's mine. And the I don't know, like the song is beautiful and the vocals are gorgeous and the I don't know. The ideas expressed I think are pretty important and there is a I mean there's obviously an element of like, man, I'm so upset with you specifically.
Yeah.
That is I do not feel towards this person anymore, which I think is normal, but like in the moment it meant a lot to me. So I have a special place in my heart for Burn because it sort of marks a moment that defined a major shift in my just life narrative and who my identity and how I express that just in the world and socially. So yeah, I like Burn. Burn's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, heck yeah.
Burn's pretty alright. Burn's pretty aight.
Yeah.
Um,
Burns pretty right.
then like the world is wide enough is pretty rad. It's not my favorite, but I
Yeah.
like it. And
Mm-hmm.
then Who Lives Who Dies Who Tells You a Story. I can't listen to it that often because it makes me cry.
Uh it's
The
like
orphanage.
yeah.
Can't handle it. It's
Uh, I don't know. It's like in terms of songs that I'm not as big a fan of, I feel like they tend to be the very slower ones. Uh, I'm not a big fan of Stay Alive. I think that's one of my least favorite.
I have not listened to Stay Alive very much,
Yeah.
probably because it did not grab my attention.
Yeah. Stay Alive. History has its eyes on you. Uh,
I
yeah.
do not like Helpless for the exact like.
Helpless. Yep. I
Here's
was
the
just
thing,
about to say.
like it's okay, it's fine. Like normally
Uh-huh.
I just wouldn't be very interested in it, but the problem is that so like remember how we were talking about that relationship and then how Burn was a significant turning point for me,
Yes.
like represents a significant turning point in my life in that sort of
Uh-huh.
respect. You've got Helpless at the beginning of it, and like if I am a character in Hamilton at this period of my life, I am Eliza, and so I'm not a fan of Helpless.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
I don't like that. Like we talked earlier about like I relate to I like I enjoy seeing different stories told with characters that have a lot of love to give but are have a lot of armor and have a difficult time trusting people and being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the root of why that's a story I can relate to.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of Helpless on an ideological level, just personally for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's just like it's weird because it's just like I'm not a big fan of It's Quiet Uptown or
Like It's Quiet Uptown.
I think it's
Um, I
fine.
think it's lovely, but like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not. Doesn't have me coming back to listen to it a lot. Like if I
Yeah.
make a playlist of musical songs that relax my anxiety, like It's Quiet Uptown might be on there,
Mm-hmm.
but the along with Dear Theodosia.
Yeah.
But like it's not, I'm not listening to it as I'm driving anywhere or anything.
Yeah. One that I recently re-listened to and I'm just like, okay, actually this one has way more of an impact than it usually did, and that was Blow Us All Away.
That's the one about his son, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember listening to is that man, that happens after the
Right after
after
Burn in the Reynolds pamphlet. Yeah.
oh yeah, it does. Shoot.
Yep, it happens right after Burn.
That's really yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Why do you like Blow Us All Away?
Okay. So like when I first listened to it, I was like, oh, it's fine. It's just his son. Oh, it's sad. He's died. But when I re-listened to it recently, there's a couple things. One, the tone of the song, which I also read in the book, was changed so that it would be like new school hip hop from the 90s compared to 70s and 80s hip hop, which is what originally Hamilton had at the beginning of the story as well, to show the newness of how he was going to change the world.
Love that.
That is one really cool thing. Two, I just love Anthony Ramos and how he portrayed his son, and it was just very cool. And he was just like, yo, I got so much for this world. But I will always represent my pops. There's no disrespecting him. He may have messed up, but I love him and I will not stand for this. And just seeing how easy it was for him to pass away, somebody who you could probably see would have actually changed the world quite a bit, because from what it was saying and shown, Hamilton's son was also brilliant from an even younger age. And you're like,
yeah, I love him doing his little Eliza bringing him up, and she's like, he's got a rap for you.
Yeah.
And he does his little rap.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just like he was learning French due to how much they love of good old Lafayette and the effects of that. And it's like you could just see all this potential, and it was shown, and then it was extinguished right then and there at the end. And all of like the somberness at the end of the song really, really hit. Just like Eliza singing to her son, just like the tiny little song that they used to sing when he was young. Like that one just really re-hit, and it hits hard. It's like it didn't the first time, and I don't know as much why, but knowing all the things that went into it and the potential, and that one hit harder now, and I really like it. Also, just another thing with Your Obedient Servant, I really like it due to the song structure and just like where they went with it, because it's a mixture of like the rap and then very eloquent and then very mocking at the end, and it's like an entire story that you could see could have gone on for like over a couple days or like weeks worth of letters and passive aggressiveness, all in like a minute and a half, and it's actually just really good. And then there's the conflict of tones between Hamilton and Burr, because Burr has that more eloquent voice, because obviously it was more, I feel like the way that they wrote Burr was fit for Leslie Odom Jr. and how Hamilton was wrote for Lin-Manuel Miranda. So
yeah, Aaron Burr is very like smooth and nuanced, and like a lot of he's very well, musical sounds like a weird way to say it, but like it flows, and whereas Hamilton's voice is very like abrupt and in your face, and like, hey, I'm right here, look at me.
Yeah, and it really when I listened to it, I could just see, because there was the part where both Hamilton and Burr are just like very passive aggressive, as if they were both in the same room. And that's what in animatics as well, it kind of just showed how close they were, it felt. And you could see both styles, with Burr singing in his tone. It would be like, careful if you proceed, good man. And you can just hear like that confidence that he has now gained from the room where it happened, and his style that he now has compared to Hamilton's rap, because he, of course, Lin-Manuel can't really sing as well.
Burr kind of flips his own assertive switch.
Yeah, his own assertive switch. And you could see both of them just butting heads with both styles of music against each other, and I just really like that. And of course, at the very end, with the mockingness, that just always proceeds to make me smile a bit. It's just like, I have the honor to be your obedient servant. A.Ham.
Their contrast and chemistry is one of my favorite things in Nonstop, and that just little middle section where he
Mm-hmm.
shows up saying, come write the Federalist Papers with me.
Yeah.
So, I love it so
Oh,
much.
so much. And
Mm-hmm.
sadly, this is all the time that we have. We were able to.
Someone came in right at the end here.
I know, but
I'm so sorry.
but who knows? Maybe we just hook them in to now go and re-listen to this entire podcast.
This is a podcast where we chat about random things.
Yes.
And hang out with you guys.
Mm-hmm. For the theme for next episode, for the next podcast, I have decided executively that it shall be Percy Jackson.
As a whole?
Yes, as
In
a
general?
whole. Just in
Shoot,
general.
Dude, I gotta do some research, man.
Oh, yeah, because it's been in the news because there's going to be a live action series on Disney Plus,
It's true.
and boy, do I want to talk about it. And I'm also going to listen to the
Yeah.
Percy Jackson musical, so we can also discuss about that. All things Percy Jackson shall be the next episode, and boy howdy, it's a topic that I think we could actually talk about for more than just 2 episodes, but we'll try to keep it to 1. So be excited for that one. You can follow me, Nenorama, at Nenorama, the YouTube channel. I post music there. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, the RamenTV, where we will have the podcast every other week. The next episode will be out on June 13th at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Coolio.
Yeah, you can follow Howie, the oh so lovely Howie. How does one person on How Does One Person at YouTube, or How Does One Person on Twitter?
The number 1
Yes.
in place of 1.
Yes, the number 1, because Howie is number 1.
Aww.
Thank you very much for listening. With all the interruptions and whatnot, I'm going to actually try to upload previous episodes of the podcast on the day that we record. So the first episode that happened last time should be coming out today.